U.S. raid in Somalia kills a senior ISIS leader, 10 ISIS fighters.
Here's a summary of the article.
On Wednesday night, a U.S. military operation in northern Somalia killed a senior ISIS leader and 10 other ISIS fighters, according to two senior administration officials. In a statement, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said al-Sudani was responsible for fostering the growing presence of ISIS in Africa and funding the group's operations worldwide, including in Afghanistan. The officials said no civilians were wounded or killed in the operation, but they did not identify any of the 10 others killed beyond characterizing them as ISIS operatives. The only injury the officials reported was a U.S. service member who was bitten by one of the American military service dogs. The operation took place in a mountainous area in northern Somalia and followed months of planning, the officials said. There were extensive rehearsals of the operation itself by our military forces, one senior administration official said, including at sites specifically built to recreate the terrain where the operation ultimately needed to take place. Actual execution was careful, precise and effective. The operation yielded some intelligence, but the senior administration officials declined to provide specifics.
This post received a score of 15,000, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Only injury is the dog being a little overzealous and chomped down on a service member. That is very impressive.
If Black Hawk Down had gone off without a hitch, we'd know it by a different name and the headline would be something like this.
Or imagine what the world would be like if Desert One in Iran had been successful. Both that and Black Hawk Down showed significant problems in the U.S. military, and to the credit of the generals involved, they used both as teaching moments to learn from those mistakes and improve to make such operations successful.
Thanks, buddy. How the fuck does this thing work?
The only injury the officials reported was a U.S. service member who was bitten by one of the American military service dogs. Why does Ruffles always have to be the asshole in operations?
Friendly biting. Teeth hug.
Death nibble.
It's kinda amazing how well trained and rehearsed U.S. Special Forces are that they can raid the hideouts of globally wanted terrorists and regularly do the stuff with zero casualties.
It really can't be overstated just how many supporting resources are dumped into ensuring that the trigger pullers have the best possible odds. If regular grunts are in this position, they just call a JDAM and level the building.
According to Wikipedia, a JDAM kit costs about $25,000, which when compared to the $400,000 life insurance payout for a service member who is killed, seems much cheaper. Also, it is generally cheaper to use munitions than a trained, experienced crayon eater.
How much does it cost to make and maintain an infantryman?
According to this article from an Army.mil site, between $55,000 $74K for a U.S. Army soldier. And for the U.S. Marine side, this news article from NBC calculates just under $45,000 for a new Marine. These figures seem like they're for the basic infantryman straight out of boot camp, not including any significant follow-on MOS training. Disclaimer: I have not verified any of these numbers by myself, nor do they include what it costs to maintain one.
Was curious and came across this. States $1 minus $1.5 million to train a special forces soldier. Then there's all the support that PWNY_ mentioned.
For the amount of training and exercise those guys do, $1.5 million seems a little low.
I wouldn't be surprised if $1.5 million is how much it costs to train an SF soldier to the bare minimum to qualify for placement on a team. Those guys never stop training. The veterans who have been in for years will have had much more money invested in their training over that time.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.